I just hit the water super hard. I kind of like cracked my head like sideways. And then, and then I came back into shore and I was feeling okay. And then all of a sudden, like within an hour, I had this like really severe headache start developing, and it was just like really bad. Like I was like, oh, what is this? I just, like, it was quite a lot of pain. Like I winded myself, I couldn't breathe. I was like, kind of like a little bit like dizzy. Then the next morning I started like throwing up because I was in so much pain. Yeah, and sure enough, I was concussed.
Kite surfer Lucy Bilger was in the lead up to her World Championships, part of her 4-year campaign towards the 2028 Olympics, when a concussion in July put that on hold.
I was planning to go to LA to check out the venue for LA 2028 Olympics, and I couldn't do that. I had to cancel those plans.
The symptoms were severe.
I had nausea, I was fatigued, I had like sensitivity to noise and bright lights, I had issues falling asleep, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I couldn't fall asleep. I also just would like feel just exhausted after doing like small tasks.
Over the past 7 months, AUT has had 447 participants through their Women's Health and Neuroscience Research Program, which specifically looks at concussions in females. Lucy is one of them.
Concussions, like from my experience, they're quite hard to diagnose and like define whether they're moderate, mild or severe. It was quite interesting like going through that process and being diagnosed. It seemed quite like wishy-washy rather than actually finding like something in your blood.
Which is what the blood detector machine and the study are trying to solve.
This machine measures more than just the brain health metrics, it's all about women's health. So if we can improve the health of our women athletes, that should help improve their performance and reduce their injury risk.
With athletes making up 30% of concussions in New Zealand, the study hopes to be a game changer for female athletes.
Head injuries are so weird, like you just can't physically see it. I think that was the biggest thing, is that I have no idea how long this recovery process is going to take, like whether it's going to be a couple of months or whether it's going to be a year. I just didn't know when I was going to be back to normal.
Getting a clear picture on the recovery process as well as understanding the immediate effects of a concussion is part of the overall goal for AUT's research program.
So we'll probably get about 1,000 people in the next year to a year and a half in terms of those who have had concussion and also healthy people.
Since the study began in May, the group has grown to 51 concussed participants and 396 control group participants as of early December. Sammy Bentley was one of the first to take part in the control group.
When I heard about it, I thought it was really interesting that they were focusing on female athletes this time, because I know that in the past it's been more like male dominated in this kind of research. Also just like being in water polo teams with players who have had concussions and how it's like affected them in their day-to-day lives, as well as being students. I think it's really cool that they're trying to figure out ways to see how we develop afterwards and how we heal.
And have you ever had a severe traumatic brain injury?
No.
Or a concussion?
No. A lot of the specific biomarkers that they're looking at in the blood test, it's actually really difficult to get those some of those within New Zealand readily tested for yourself. So to know that they're actually going to analyse them and then get back to me on my results is really, really exciting.
Abby Stewart is a respiratory physio. Her line of work often sees her supporting the recovery journey for people with a concussion. That's just one of the reasons why she wanted to participate in this study.
Women within research are so underrepresented. Like, it only just takes looking at some of our higher quality RCTs and randomised control trials to spot that there is this like missing piece of the puzzle, which is just that women's physiology are so underrepresented in the research. So I feel like as a woman, it's like it felt embodied for me to do my part in sort of helping to reduce the deprivation of that.
There are a lot of studies on men, so our focus is definitely on women, but we're not excluding men. We want to understand the differences between males and females for concussion risk and also recovery.
It's extremely complex.
It's not just your blood biomarkers, it's your psychology, and there's confounding effects of whether you're male or female. There could be effects of your ethnicity and also with your age.
I remember when I first got my concussion, like just having a shower was like a lot of effort, and then going to the supermarket was just like too overwhelming, and like, you know, like you were just kind of like, your brain almost couldn't like process all the information that was being chucked at you, and that was like really scary. And I just had this like overwhelming feeling that I wasn't like myself.
A feeling many concussion sufferers will resonate with.
And you just not feel right.
Which is why it's a key question asked as part of the brain injury screening tool, a scaling system used in the study to reflect the symptomatic side of a concussion.
When I was concussed, I found the questions quite hard to answer because it was like a rating system and a scale, and sometimes like 1 to 10 like is quite a big range at times, and yeah, I found that really hard to kind of determine what exactly number correlates to the symptom that I'm feeling. But as you know, I've recovered, the questions are quite easy to answer now. So
0. Okay. Do you get confused easily? 0.
This subjective side is where the blood tests come into play, comparing how the physiological findings in the blood align with the symptoms and how these change throughout the recovery process.
So a lot of the studies have just picked people up at the emergency department, taken bloods, and that's where the journey tends to stop. We're looking at their recovery over several months, and that's why we're asking people to come back for multiple blood tests and assessments so that we can actually track their recovery. And that's really important because it's not necessarily a linear recovery.
I think that's what I really experienced with my concussion, that it was definitely not linear at all. Like, in fact, like I would feel really good one day, and then the next day I'd feel like I'd like gone backwards, that I was at the start of my concussion.
It was something she realised she needed to take seriously.
One of the biggest setbacks was when I was about to go to LA. I had kind of not been completely honest about how severe my headaches were, and because I was really, really keen to go, and I had a phone call from one of the high performance doctors, and he said, look, like concussions are no joke. Like if you are feeling bad, like don't push it, otherwise you could make it 10 times worse. And I don't know, he just kind of put some fear into me, and like a good fear that I should really kind of treat this injury with caution, and if I am experiencing symptoms that I should not be going overseas and competing. And that was a real wake-up call, and in fact that night that I was supposed to fly out, I had like a massive flare-up in my symptoms. I had like the worst headache I had like within the whole entire concussion, and I spent like the whole night like throwing up and in pain, so it was definitely the right call to make. But yeah, it was just a really hard call to make.
Because for Lucy, the more time she had away from training, the more she was worried about her future sporting goals.
An Olympic campaign cycle is only 4 years. It's not a lot of time in the, in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, I was really worried if I didn't get cleared, then that would just be, not game over, but it would like put me at a severe disadvantage against the rest of the girls who are competing, because I just had that time just off.
Although her experience with concussion was difficult, Lucy was glad to be surrounded by a supportive group of people, from her physios and occupational therapist right down to her family.
My mum's a nurse, so she was an intensive care nurse, and so she was quite well versed in and all these like medical things. So she was really supportive. She was like my rock through the whole entire thing, and my whole family was. So it was great because I was really appreciative that I had that understanding from the family, because it's such a weird injury because you can't actually see, like it's not like a broken arm where you can see that, oh yeah, I'm physically injured. It's just like, it's all in your head.
Concussion and symptoms related to concussion are a very subjective experience. So the individual is reporting a whole cocktail of symptoms that are super unpleasant and can also be deeply isolating and stigmatized because of that sort of subjective side to it. So knowing that there is this road map of innovation coming to looking at objective markers is really exciting, because then suddenly we're able to look at something objectively within our bodies and say, oh well, this actually links into concussion.
As Lucy nears the end of her involvement in the study, She reflects on how this research will be helpful for anyone with a concussion in the future.
Creating awareness about concussions and helping it to be an easier, more diagnosable experience, that would be just amazing, I think. To have a reason to why you're feeling a certain way and the symptoms you're experiencing, I think that's really important.